First of all, did they change anything on the Charleston? Reload is now 9 seconds. Isn't that the same as St. Louis? Nine seconds. Wait, doesn't that make it like 29.5, 14 guns, 11.3, 29.5, 14 guns. Slightly better range. 22 knots. How fast was St. Louis? Also 22, 458.4, 11. 22. Better oh no, it's got camo, that same concealment. It's literally a St. Louis. It's literally a St. Louis with very, very slightly more range. That's it. Well, that's very uninteresting. Shell speed? It's identical guns, so 853, it should be identical. Yeah, exactly identical. 7% fire chance versus... Actually, we should look at the upgrade. 7% fire chance, 22.5 turret traverse. 7% fire chance, 22.5 turret traverse. Identical. Literally, it's a premium St. Louis with slightly more range. Completely uninteresting. Okay. Dreadnought. Have they changed anything? Pretty healthy for a tier 3, isn't it? 37.4. Turret traverse is abysmal. Concealment is amazing. Speed is shit. Pretty damn vulnerable to all sorts of HE spam at low tiers though. Isn't it? 19 mil. 16 mil. This thing has no real... Usually these dreadnoughts tend to shatter a lot of HE. This thing... Unlikely. Yeah, this thing is just gonna eat a massive amount of HE spam. Very bad torpedo protection as well for a battleship. Good concealment though. And you can probably do some meme bullshit in a smoke, considering this thing. Gun caliber 305. That's pretty low for tier 5, tier 3 you say? Really? The Bellerophon has 305s as well. And the South Carolina has 305s as well. I don't see how you could say that's small for its tier on Lobgrove. That's pretty normal. No, that's a perfectly normal caliber. I mean HE shells? Oh, you mean the HE shells it's gonna be eating are small caliber? That's a fair argument, but this thing is still 10, this is 10. This is 19. 19 is enough to get penned by 120 plus. And I think almost all low tier cruisers have 100 and like St. Louis has 152, maybe not the best example. Bogatyr has 152 as well. Kolberg has 105. Kolberg will not pen. Actually, never mind, German cruisers have quarter pen. Yes, they will. So I think everything will pen it. No, once again, I disagree with your chat. I think everything is gonna pen this thing. Gonna eat a ton of HE damage. The only thing that's probably not gonna be penning it is destroyers. Quarter starts at T4 or T5. Ah, okay. Well, then actually Kolberg is not gonna be penning it. Oh yeah, 105s were the exception, weren't they? 105s were the exception. I remember Bismarck secondaries, like part of them had quarter pen, but part of them didn't because of the exception. Still though, no, I mean, I don't know who really buys Tier 3 premiums besides collectors? Is the heal special? Not really, no. Compare this to NASA armor? I don't want to. I consider NASA so strong for tier 3, but we can look at it. We got 10, 19, 16, upper is also 16. We can look at the NASA. There's a reason why I consider the NASA so incredibly strong at low tiers. And this is why. This is why the NASA is so strong. Shatters HE. Only the superstructure won't, and this won't the same way, but shatters all HE, shatters all HE. Once these things get saturated, this thing hits like 0 HE damage. Pretty significant difference. And of course this kind of armor in the front as well. Kind of a scary ship, especially compared to what we just saw. I will be getting Dreadnought, not because it's tier 3, but because it's Dreadnought. I think that's basically why people would buy it, like for a collector. And that's not to say it's not a really good looking ship. I mean, once again, the modeling is absolutely spot on. And the ship looks amazing. But I tend to, most of the time when I review ships, I tend to not care about the historical values. I only go for the ship values. And from a ship point of view, there's nothing really that puts it out. From a visual point of view and from a historical point of view, it's obviously a gorgeous ship. Alright, next one we have is the tier 6. West Virginia. This one is going to be renamed West Virginia 41. I think that's actually all that's changed on it, isn't it? They're going to rename it West Virginia 41. That's, I mean, the concealment on it. Oh yeah, the concealment on this thing was good. But it's basically a hull Colorado. Yeah, we can probably compare it. Can I buy it? Let's buy the a hull Colorado. Just for shits and giggles, I'm gonna buy the a hull Colorado. I need to research. Okay, let's see, let's go. Tier 7, Battleship, American. Oops, tier 6, sorry, might be. I need to include tier 6 and 7. Oh, I need to buy it as well. Nice thinking, Flo. Why not the 1944 refit? Because Wargaming is smart and they're gonna resell the 1944 refit later. So that's why they wanna make bank on the West Virginia name twice. So instead of renaming this one Maryland and then releasing the West Virginia that everyone wants, they're gonna release two different West Virginias. One called 41 and I guess one called 44 or 45 later on. And that way they will probably make more cash of it. I can't say I agree, but it's a business decision. Lieutenant Tom Kazansky, thank you for the 2 months. It's not sellout, it's advanced sellout, pretty much, yeah. I mean, they're making money off of the name. That's the basics there. So let's see. 520, 37% belt. 49. Yeah, the B hull is too much. 49, 37%. 4x2, 30, 45, 768 meters per second. 30, 45, 768 meters per second. Firing range 16. Firing range 17. Wait, so it's literally a worse than an A-hull Colorado? Huh. Long range AA 58, 11. 58 and 11, mid and long. 41, 58. It's literally worse than an A-hull Colorado. Wow. 18.6, 64, 20.8. It does have this upgrade. There we go. 21, 640, 20.8. Go away. 21, 670, 13.7. So it does have the rudder shift you get from this. Actually, it's got much improved rudder shift. But it's got worse turning circle. I mean, concealment 12 with camo. Concealment much worse on the Colorado. So ultimately it looks to be a very stealthy A-hull Colorado. Now, I can't say that I've ever played the Colorado in this game and I've gone like, wow, this ship is just so much fun. I wish they made a premium version of the stock ship so I could play it more. I can't say, in my experience in World of Warships, I have actually ever uttered those words. So I have to say that the West Virginia goes pretty firmly into the questionable section of premiums. I mean, yeah. Does it have, yeah, it doesn't have the, does it upgrade guns? No, it does not, so. Yeah. Very questionable ship, very questionable naming, and very questionable ship overall. Probably will not, well, we'll see how it changes, but not too interested right now. Let's see, where's the updated Wichita? What have they changed on this thing? Still got our 8.5 radar. What kind of concealment can we get on this thing now? This better not be 8.7 still. Manuel, thank you for the 2 months, my dude. Oh boy, let's go. Ah,
you're not known to be a humble man, but I wonder.
I think I am actually humble. I think I'm more humble than you.
That's gonna be rough as hell. Archon Commando, thank you for the 5.
Gotta have some trash bits to fill Christmas boxes with so people get less good shit.
That's a fair argument. They did the radar is changed from the 9-kilometer radar to the 8.51. So it can no longer stealth radar, which is good. But I mean, this is not much of a buffer you have there.
You're not known to be a
this is not much of a buffer.
I wonder.
If the Wichita gets spotted, he can almost always counter radar and spot whatever is shooting him or spotting him.
Only reason to play West Virginia is to sing Take Me Home, Country Roads.
Pretty much. HE spamming BB, thank you for the 3 months. I mean that's why part of the reason why they're going to use the name so much is because once again the name is very popular. This ship is, wow, this ship is fast. I mean, if a Wichita comes at you, let's see. A Wichita steams into a cap. Like if you're entering a cap and a Wichita steams into the cap, this thing is coming in at 35.3. Holy shit, that's fast for a cruiser. And it's steaming right at you. The moment it gets spotted, it counter radars, and by the time you hit the radar button, you're probably already within radar range. And yeah, and then he's gonna hammer you with. They buffed the reload to 10 seconds. Wow. This is gonna be a nasty one. I really don't like this kind of shit. The reason why I don't like this kind of shit is because I think that there should always be counterplay options. Like, I'm okay with one class having an advantage over the other class, like paper, rock, scissors, but I do feel like that if, for example, the paper plays exceptionally well, and the scissor doesn't play that well, I feel like the paper should have the option to counter his opponent just by outplaying him. And the problem with adding gameplay like this is that it reduces the options. The counterplay options go down the drain because there's very little you can do to avoid this, because he's undetected until the point that he's radaring you. And yeah, that's gonna be nasty. And they just nerfed Wooster Radar because they didn't like the concept of stealth radar. And now we have this thing which is so fucking borderline. Not really a big fan. Not really a big fan. Looks like standard Baltimore Citadel. Wait, is that standard Baltimore Citadel? Whoa, no it's not. What the fuck? It's smaller, isn't it? Yeah, it's smaller. $27 bow. Same, isn't it? It's the same. Questionable. Questionable. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. In general, I don't think the game needs more radar, and I don't think the game needs more high concealment radar ships. I'm perfectly fine, or I'm kind of fine with the concept of radar, but I think that there should be a certain amount of skill involved with using the consumable, instead of just push the button when you're spotted and automatically always get a perfect radar off. There is no skill involved in that, and that kind of pisses me off. Still, that's just my opinion, but we'll see how it works out. And finally we have the Vanguard. New, I guess, updated Vanguard? What all did we change? Is the Citadel still the same? Yep, holy shit. That thing is still the same, okay. Yep, massive. Guns. Reload buffed from 30 seconds to 28. Turret traverse significantly buffed from 72 to 45. That's some pretty massive fucking buffs right there. It was absolute shit earlier, so that's... I gotta say that visually, I think the ship looks amazing. Like, from a visual point of view, once again. Of course, this has nothing to do with balance, but just from a visual point of view, this ship looks absolutely gorgeous. This ship looks absolutely gorgeous. It's gonna be hard to hit the turrets on this thing. If it goes nose in, Jesus, hitting the turrets is gonna be a pain. That nose is gonna eat a lot of the shells. 32 mil bow, right? Yeah, of course. Yeah, significant gun buffs, clearly. How's the AA? Pretty strong AA. Speed seems good. Concealment. Oh. What's the heal? That looks like fairly standard heal. Let's check the concealment. 14.3 base is very low on a battleship, because battleships gain the most benefit out of concealment expert. Well, besides carriers, they gain a 14% buff from it. So having such a low concealment to begin with means adding concealment expert will probably scale to something quite... Holy shit. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know how I feel about that. What I just said about counterplay, that's one of the reasons I also don't like these extremely low concealment BBs, because the only way a cruiser can deal with battleships is outplay and basically positioning. But if you can't see the battleship before he pops out in front of you, that limits your counterplay options significantly. And 11.1 on a battleship? Jesus, that's gonna be pretty terrifying as well. This is all, of course, work in progress though and subject to change, but that is quite terrifying. It is quite terrifying indeed. I would rather the ship had really strong guns, like very accurate AP guns, like the Warspite, in return for having such a bad citadel, instead of making it extremely stealthy, because, well, stealth just makes everyone else suffer. Like, I suffer because I have a bad citadel, so wargaming gives me good stealth, so everyone else also has to suffer. That's a bit of a questionable approach. Goddamn good looking ship though, I gotta give it that. It has short fuse AP now as well. Interesting. Apparently it has 2.0 Sigma as well. So the guns could be pretty spicy. The shell velocity is pretty decent. Interesting. I do love the looks on the Vanguard. I gotta say, I do love the looks on that ship. It should be a spicy. Anyway, it should be a spicy ship. Anyway, that was the upcoming premiums. Awful rear gun angles. That remains to be seen. They could easily shoot like this, maybe. Depends on how much they allow them to. If they give it really bad firing angles, then it's going to be very frustrating to play. If you give a ship a citadel this large, then you can't give it terrible firing angles, because that means every time you try to use the guns you get punished, and that makes for a very frustrating experience, because then you have to wait until you get undetected every time you turn to fire, and yeah, that's going to be frustrating. We'll see how it works. We'll see how it ends up, but questionable. It has 45-degree firing angles. Yeesh. Well, once again, I haven't play tested it, so I can't comment on how it plays. I can only comment on what I see.